This is Mary at the.meri.atelier, and I am going to work on day 3 in my jam journals. So I'm doing an unlisted live, I think. I'll have to check that to be sure. I'm going to use the Prismacolor Complexion watercolors. I got this with a Hobby Lobby gift card that Mary 2 gifted me. Yay. Thank you, Mary, too, for the gift card. So, here it is. Here's the watercolors. They fit in here. That one didn't quite get snapped in there. There we go. Maybe that'll hold it. So I'm only going to use the complexion watercolors. So I'm going to zoom in here in a minute. I have done day 1, which is Pierre and Penelope, right here, Pierre and Penelope. And I also have a wipe-off page on my front cover, inside cover. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. And then day 2 is, let me flip the page here. I have some of this painter's tape, which is sticking. Day 2 is right here. Right here is day 2. I did some buttons, and the prompt on day 1 was only use one color. The prompt on day 2, well, you could use any colors you wanted, but the prompt was to only use a brush. Don't do any pen or pencil pre-drawing of it. And I chose to do a button card. Day 3 is giving you permission to use the pen and pencils first and sketch out whatever you're going to watercolor, and then watercolor around it or in it. Do your watercolor, but leave the pen and pencil marks. So that is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use this piece of wax paper here because I'm sure I will be coming over here, and this is to protect Pierre and Penelope from the wipe-off pages here. So I think I am pretty much unlisted live stream. I am streaming off of my phone, off of my mobile phone. I'm resetting the laptop, hopefully. Having a little bit of trouble doing that. So the pens that I'm using are a Sharpie, which is not water soluble, it's permanent, and this R2 ink pen, which is water soluble on some papers. I'll have to see what it does on the watercolor paper. So let's get out my water here and kind of let's spritz the watercolors, let them get reactivated. And I'll just put some water in the pan here. And yeah, let's zoom in. Now, I already have a spot here on the page, so I'm going to try to work this spot in. So I'm going to zoom in. Hold the phone because I have to reposition it here. There we go. So I don't think you'll see all of my watercolors that I'm using off of my pan while I'm doing this. I'll try. And I'll be using different sizes of brushes here. They're all rounds, but they are craft brushes. I don't really have a really nice set of watercolor brushes because I'm not a professional watercolor person. So there we go. So I'm going to sit down and get started. Now, what I'm going to do, let me sit down, and I'm going to follow along on my tablet here so I can see what I'm doing. So let's go to my channel. There we go. So I will probably move my watercolor set out of the picture here because I want to show you what I'm going to sketch. And let's see if I can't put my tablet, readjust things here so I can still see my tablet. I'm getting some glare off of my light. Let's turn it a little. And turn my tablet horizontally. Come on, flip. And do the big picture here because I am unlisted. Okay, so what you are going to see as I'm watercoloring is I'm going to do my hand. And I think I want to do my hand holding on to a pencil. Now this is my left hand because I'm going to paint with my right hand. So I'm going to sketch first, and I think I will sketch with my Sharpie. So maybe I should hold a watercolor brush instead of although I do not watercolor with my left hand. How about holding my watercolor brush, sketching a sketch of me holding my watercolor brush like that. So I have to move this over a little. And let's sketch it out with the Sharpie first. And let's just do a little sketching here. And here will be my knuckle, and the brush will come this way. Now I may not get my entire hand on this, but that will be okay with me. And I may not get the entire brush on this, and that will be okay with me too. And so I can see on my hand some shadowing in here, of course, but I can see this line where my thumb comes to meet the inner part of my hand. So let's do my thumb here, and it kind of comes like this and then curves in, and this line kind of comes like that, and there's a line there, and then you can see some of the lines right down in there. Right down in there, like that, and like that. And that brush actually, let's see, this brush actually comes more down in here. And then my thumb comes up this way and around the brush. Now I am holding this with my left hand, and I'm not a left-handed person, so this is just more of an example of the sketching technique and using the pen and paper than it is watercoloring with your left hand. All right, now my thumb, the knuckle here on my thumb is right in here, and it kind of comes out and around this way, and then I've got sort of where this line meets, kind of comes up into here, and my knuckle comes up, my hand, my finger comes up this way, and up and around and down, and it's going to meet, it's actually going to come and meet this, and look right there where that spot is right where my finger comes. So I might have some dirty fingernails. Oh dear. And I'm going to shorten this brush a little. I'm going to, instead of this gold being right underneath of my finger, let's move the brush down up a little so I can get some of that brush on my picture. And it could even go up a little bit more, like this. And there we go. Now looky here, I've got 1, 2, 3 fingers coming out here, And let's see, it kind of curves this way. And it really, the end of my finger kind of comes even with the end of this brush. So let's move it like that. Now, my purpose for doing this is to leave lines on here. So I'm going to darken some of these sketch lines as I sketch so that you can see them when after I watercolor. Now I'm using all the complexion watercolors here. This brush is blue, so I might get out my brights, my Jane Davenport brights, and just do that blue brush, and I might put some color back behind, which is kind of a goldish tan. But I want it to, I also got watercolor here from over on the other side. Okay, let's finish with my fingers though. I've got the other finger kind of comes down this way, and then my little finger is peeking out in here. Right in there, sort of. Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm going to try to lift up some of those spots. Oh dear. So let's emphasize some of the lines in here. Maybe some of these lines. Make it look a little more believable. This line in here. There's some lines coming that way. Now there's the end of my thumb kind of comes down like that, and it's going off of the page here. But all of this part is in shadow, and a little of this is in shadow, and you can see some shadow of my brush, the way the light is coming from this direction. So that's not too bad for a sketch. Now I'm going to continue holding on to this brush while I paint. So that means I might need to get out a wider brush. No, I think I'll use this one. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I found my label maker, but now I lost my little watercolor cup. I swear. No, I'm not going to swear, but it seems like if it's not one thing, it's another. I want to point out something else. There's a shadow underneath of my, see that shadow in there? There's a shadow in here. So this is all going to be in shadow. And I really am wanting to get out that other set. Hold that right there, Mary, while I reach down and get out this other set of watercolors. Which, of course, I organized my cards, and they're in here. I could not do that without, all right, something like that. Let's see if I can open this up. So, work one-handed, I guess, is the other. I want some of this blue in here and maybe some of the other colors in here. So this is going to, these are Jane Davenport watercolors. Let's just, and as you can tell, my watercolor pans are nice and primed, juicy prime. All right, let's put my, as best I can, like that again. So I'm going to start filling in the negative space here and here, and some dark areas in there. And then I'm going to come in and start, and my page will bounce. Let me get a clip here and see if I can, I don't know if this will hold it down or not. Let's see if I can use this little clip to hold it down. It might get in my way. There. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I'm still kind of in the same position. And let's get this brush instead. I like this brush. It's nice and has a lot of, and I did get clean water this morning. So I am going to, well, that's not the color I want. And I need a towel. Hold on. Hold a minute. I need 4 hands in this case. Let me break off a towel off of my, because I'll be needing that. And I am trying to swish watercolor over on the front here, right in here. So you may not see that as I'm working because, well, you just may not see it. I was reaching for yellow ochre, and I think that's in my other pan, which is still down below. So instead of yellow ochre, well, I guess I could mix some yellow and oh, I am so wanting another pan, another. Let me clean off some of this in my pan to make me a, so I can mix me a yellow ochre. I'm removing some green. And where's my brush? I'm going to put some yellow and some browns. A little bit of red in there. And a teeny bit of brown. Well, that's kind of a, that's the wrong color. Where's my brown? Is that brown? No, is this brown? It's purple. Don't I have a brown in here? This is hard because I don't want to mess up my, that's blue. What color? Let's see. That's purple. Where's my brown? And that's a lighter purple. I don't think my brown is. So let's take some off of my complexion that's got some browns on there. Yeah. All of that because I want to get the background. All right, hold the phone. I'm still holding my paintbrush. All right, am I there? I'm checking my laptop. Here, let's bring it up a little. All right. So you can't see my hand too well. My hand looks like that. So what I want is kind of, yeah, there's kind of a yellow ochre in here. And I want to do that in the background. Because that'll go well with the blue. And it'll go well with my skin tone in there. And I'll probably come in and be changing that. Yeah. So I'm not changing my, I'm really sketched my drawing first. Now my paper, I think I want a little bit lighter color. So I'm going to do a little lifting in here. And I might even change that to like a rose color just for the fun of it. And I might bring some rose up in there, but let's wash my brush out again. I shouldn't be washing it out. I should be swishing it out, but it's kind of hard to do that. Now I'm going to go to the complexion set, which is this set. And my complexion, and I noticed they do not have a white in here, and that disappoints me a lot. My white, I'm going to have to get that other set out. Hold that. I have to reach over here and get my other set. I have to have the white for this. I'll have to reposition my hand. I have to have white to mix my... I suppose you should not need white to mix a skin tone, but I do. I have to have white. And I have white that I'm going to refill in there. I have a tube of Winsor Newton white. I use white a lot. Okay, let's reposition my hand. And I'll just get these. You know that I'm using Jane Davenport's colors too. And I'm going to turn them sideways here. Okay, let's kind of reposition my hand so you can get an idea. It was sort of like this. And for me to do this, it's highlighted in here a darker kind, not pink. There's some pink tones in there, maybe some pink tones around my fingers in here, and it's really, I had my hand more like that, so you don't see much of this bottom part. You see more of the fingers, and this little finger probably shows a little more. So my hand is really more of a whitish, tan, pinkish. It's pink, but it's not really pink. It's more of a tannish pink. Probably more of a brownish tan. So let's do that in here first. Maybe up in here. And this is even darker. And let's mix a little pink in here with this darker pink color in there. And darker up in here, darker as it comes down there. My thumbnail is kind of a darker color too. Let's see if I can put some. And now, a true watercolor artist probably would not make this white in here. They would probably leave it. I'm not sure that I could call myself a true watercolor artist because, you know what, I'm learning along with the rest of you. But here's the thing, you paint what you see. You paint what you see, and don't worry about what's right and wrong. I mean, unless you want to worry about it. All right, now my paintbrush is making a shadow right here. This hand, though, is making a shadow. So I'm going to kind of grab a little bit more of that brown and put in here. And I'm going to bring that shadow kind of like that. And I'm not bothering right now to flip over there and do colors. Mostly because I'd have to move all my pages to do that. And I don't want that, so let's get that out of there. And it's okay to swish. Now look how light that got in there. And it's really a dark, it's a dark color in there. Yeah, maybe not that dark. I'm trying to keep these colors a little bit more pure. On my complexion watercolors, not getting the browns in the, you know, I tend to put color on the pans that don't belong there. I tend to do that a lot. Oh, oops. And I'm trying just to get this a darkish color in here, and that may be pretty good. Only that may be a little too dark. Yeah. And the same way with this, I'm just going to swish it out in there. And kind of just, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. And bring that out in here a little more. And along the lines. Now this is really resting on this. See how it's resting? My brush, in fact, I'm holding it a little bit too far down. It's resting between my knuckle here and in the inside between my knuckle and the thumb. So it should really, my paintbrush on this should really be down maybe an inch. But that's not the way I sketched it, so I sketched it as I saw it. And let's just, I don't want to go any darker in that hand. So let's get some, maybe some pinks in there. Some fleshy colors, especially up in here maybe. And maybe right in here. And down around in here. And on my thumb coming this way and up in here, all up in here. On my thumbnail and this right in there. Fleshy colors. And I still got those two spots here. Let's see if I can't wash those out a little. Pick them up with my, yeah, that's better. Now let's darken this. Just kind of give it some shadow. I don't want it too dark, but I don't want it, I need you to see it too. I gotta see what's going on here. Choose an option. Use a device. I'm not sure what's going on. Reset this PC. Advanced options. Startup, repair. Fix problems that keep Windows from loading. Startup settings. Command prompt. Uninstall. Updates. System restore. Use a restore point. No, I don't know what it is. Oh, I know what it is. I am trying to restore my PC at the same time I'm doing this, and it's not really a good thing to do two things at once. If this doesn't work, I'll have to do that later. I have to finish this. I can't do 10 things at once with one right hand. All right, so where am I at on here? That really took my attention away. It took my weight. What I'm doing over here on my PC is drew my attention away from my watercolor for a few moments, and you saw that happen. Now I'm focusing on this again, and I'm going, what do I want to change on here? And I think I want more rose color, maybe some little whites up in here, and maybe I can do that by removing. Let's see. Let's just put a little wet on that corner of this and see if I can't remove some of this in here. Right there. I want it a little lighter up at the top of these fingers. And come back in. Now let's grab this one. And I'm really gripping onto this, so it's causing my fingers to be a little red under there. I'm trying to reach for a brush. Of course, I get two of them. And let's go with some rosy skin here. And my hand is more like that. And I'm using wash rather than a lot of color in here. I'm using more of a wash color. And that's way too much. My brush is really wet. Now, see, that's almost too brown for me. I don't mind it in here, but I need just some plain, I need my water. I need my water. Let's see if I can't just kind of lightly tap on this. And the thing I don't like about watercolor, to tell you the truth, is you can get your painting exactly like you want it, and if it gets splattered on, if something happens to it later, it's ruined. All right, I'm going to put some rose color in here, some dark rose color on the in here, and maybe that will make my skin look a little more natural, not so dark. Pretend I'm painting a rose. And I could take some of that rose that I really do like, this rosy Jane Davenport, and kind of smear it up in here. Up in there, just around the edges. I like to do that. Kind of smudge it in there. And leaving the browns up in here. And let's, I should be washing all this off on my, let's go in with that blue, the blue turquoise of my brush, and just bring it down this way. And maybe come in with some darker blue on the underneath, if I can, like that. How is that looking to you? I'm liking that. We could put a little blue up in here and just kind of work it in up there. Maybe a little up in here where the table meets the wall. Bring that down a little. Yeah, I'm losing it in there. All right, now this part of my brush has a name. It's gold. Its name is gold. And I'm gonna paint it in there with some yellow highlights, and the same with the brush. Some light yellow in there if I can. And this is where your page can get too wet. Let's see if I can do a one-handed dry. Paint one-handed. You know, that is a challenge. And I have got this too much yellow on my thumb here. And I don't know if I can lift it up. Let's squirt a little water on my towel and see if I can get that to my liking. Yeah. Now your color always dries lighter, so I'm pretty happy with these tones. I think I need some more shadowing in here. So I am going to take a grayish color, if I can find a grayish color, and just kind of work it in there, right in there. Kind of the gray in here. And you know, if you get too much on there, it wants to work off. In the same way with up in here. Let's put some dark in there. You'll see that I tend to love to put a lot of color on my pages. I tend to love to do that. All right, and what I also need is some more lightening of this brush mark here. Lift that a little and come back with my, was that what I was using the rose for? Come back with this in here just to kind of, yeah. Now, the pen marks are still there, but I'm going to emphasize them a little bit more on here. Just kind of to tell myself where the lines are. Kind of have to be careful when doing this. My thumbnail has a lot more rows in it than what this is showing. Yeah, thumbnail has some. And up in here. You can use your fingers to smear with too if you want. You just kind of have to work with it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Grab my pen again and All right. I think I'm going to call it done. It was a fast sketch, but it was a very, now I have to say, this kind of challenged me. Challenged me to hold on to that brush all that time. So let's, first of all, what I like to do is set my watercolors aside to dry and leave them out. Yeah, because see, all that water will dry on my pan, and I can use this color again. So let's set this one over here. And I got 3 of them out. I should have known. I should have gotten all 3 out at the first. Alrighty, let's take and put my pen. Well, I'll have to wash these brushes out. I do wash them out and put them in my. All right, move it this way a little. There we go. Let's remove our tape. I might end up hitting this with the heat gun. We will see. I throw my tape away. I don't make an attempt to save it. Frustrates me to try to unbend it and reuse it. I'll get more. This is painter's tape. I'm very happy with it. Those black dots that were there have been worked in. So yeah. So you can see the lines of my, actually I think what I want to do now, I'm not looking at my sketch anymore, but I think I want to define this brush a little bit more here. And maybe the gold portion of it, give it some definition. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to put my left hand holding a watercolor brush. And this is pen and ink and watercolor, but I'm going to sign it. And I am dating these the day of the prompt, not the day that I do it. Today's the 9th. The prompt is day 3. So I'm going to sign it March 3rd, 2020. And I have 6 to get caught up with. So I am not spraying fixative on these. If I were, I kind of cringe when I say that, because I'm so worried that it will get messed up on the, what do I have here? This is my wipe off. I did not use my wipe off page today. It was too much for me to do while holding my brush. But this is my wipe off. I'm using the inside of the wipe off of the book cover for my wipe off page. And I put this piece of wax paper on it to protect Pierre and Penelope. Pierre and Penelope. Come on. Up a little more. There we go. There's Pierre and Penelope. And here are the buttons that I did Friday night? I guess I did them Friday night. I don't know. Sunday night. I did the buttons. I'm pretty happy with them in the end. They're not perfect. And then today I did my hand holding a watercolor brush. Yeah. All right. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on day 4. Bye for now.